Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Spence.
Good morning.
Good morning. And Nick is here.
Good afternoon.
Good Good morning.
I'm speaking from the future.
Gal will probably join us shortly. Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by Vimix Software, Telestreams, Wirecast Software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Livestream. Another week gone by, and everybody is still inside.
Well, it's funny. I was in contact with somebody. It's an acquaintance, not really a friend, but I had met in Alaska, and for some reason, we were just communicating back and forth. And so she said, I'll get back to you later. And I said, it's okay. I'll be here. I'll be outside working. And she said, "Back outside?" ? So apparently where she's at, I think it's in Seattle, she's not allowed to leave her house unless they go to specific things. So
Yeah.
our neighborhood is just bustling with people walking all the time. We're families out with their kids walking, and we have a greenway literally across the street from our driveway is the entrance to our greenway. So we're able to just go out and walk, and we can walk to Food Lion. It's just a 10-minute walk away. So we're lucky.
And it's okay. It's allowed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up, slave.
So why for now? But did you see the announcement they made about the tracking software? They've signed a deal with a company to do tracking.
Let's talk a little bit about this because it's not really political. This whole thing that they've done this in South Korea, they've done it in Australia, and a couple of other. I think they've done it in Norway. They've done it in a couple of other countries where they have you install an app on your phone. The app is supposed to so you install the app on your phone. If you test positive for COVID-19, you go on this app and say, I am positive. It, based on Bluetooth, knows who you were around over the past 14 days or whatever criteria they've set for that, and you were in contact with for more than, I think it's 12 or 15 minutes, whatever the time frame is. And what they say, it anonymizes the data and gives that person an alert. And this is the scary part of the coronavirus, in my opinion. I'm not saying that the virus itself isn't scary, but the mass freak out and complete, and believe me, as anybody that's listened to this show for a period of time, I'm not somebody that freaks out about privacy. But when governments are asking you to install tracking apps on your phone and they say they're anonymizing the data and they're going to delete it when this is all said and done, that's just a crock of shit. So, I mean, that's
I heard they brought in Sally Yates to make sure that it would all be overseen.
Oh, yeah.
The other side of the story, Nick, I have a story here that goes last week. A division of the United Nations announced its new social distancing app designed to help alert people when they get too close to another person during the ongoing coronavirus pandemic. Motherboard has found that the app called 1.5, 1.5 is barely functional. And an independent researcher highlighted how the app may be largely ineffective due to how it informs users when they are near any other device which uses Bluetooth rather than only mobile phones, which a human is presumably carrying in their pocket. So here is one kind of that is being criticized that it's not working like it is. How many people have the Bluetooth off? You don't
Well,
choose
doesn't
Bluetooth.
matter. These apps will force you to have the Bluetooth on. That's the key.
Oh, if you install it. Oh, I see. Okay.
Once and that's the thing here. And I mean, I'm not going
Yeah.
all tinfoil hat conspiracy on you, but it's just very interesting that uh, that there is the idea that okay, obviously you're carrying around a phone in your pocket anyway. Can that be tracked? Yes, absolutely. Does AT&T or Verizon or T-Mobile or Sprint can they
Mhm.
track can they triangulate your location? Yes.
Sure.
Does the NSA or some other group probably have a backdoor into your phone? Yes, probably. That's one thing. But when the government is essentially forcing you, in some of these countries they are, is essentially forcing you to install a tracking app, that I've got a serious problem with that.
Well,
I mean, that's a huge privacy concern. And frankly, I don't think I don't think some stupid freaking app that apparently anonymizes your data is going to do damn thing anyway.
I don't know. I was reading that Sweden is completely open and
Yeah, but Sweden didn't use this.
they're using something similar. And it's because of the cooperation between the state and the citizens
Yeah.
that they can
Well, I
do
mean,
this.
then the people in Sweden are
Yeah.
stupid. I
Well,
mean,
I mean, it's
I
always
don't
been
trust
like
my government, and I think that's the whole
yeah.
that's the whole philosophy here. And I'm not saying that anybody has got to. Well,
Yes,
no, I am
so
saying this. There is absolutely an agenda at foot, and I'll be damned if I'm going to have to install some app on my phone that's going to alert me if I'm around somebody that's sick.
Mhm.
I mean, is that hello? Like this is what we've come to. This is what we're talking about.
I think the
Well,
part that bothers me the most is that there's so much new information and alternatives to this out there that they're completely ignoring. You guys were watched the video of the two urgent care doctors from California when they
Yeah,
had their
can't
press
watch it
conference.
anymore, but I mean,
Oh no,
yeah,
you can find it. It's just not on YouTube.
yeah.
But he was interviewed on Fox News last night.
He was on Bill Maher too.
Yeah, and he was on also there's a couple other. I'm trying to remember which one it was. The place I see Victor Davis Hanson a lot. He was interviewed there, and it's like, well, why is it that there are these taboo, like the whole hydroxychloroquine issue? It's like here's this thing sitting there, ready to go, very safe. Yet it's everybody in these positions of power squashes it, and yet now what's the new drug that just came, what got approval yesterday?
Remdesivir.
Yeah, it's like it's not it's a new drug, and I don't think it's past the patent stage yet, where it's available as a generic.
no.
So who stands to make a lot of money on this,
The healthcare
right?
company. Yeah.
The drug
Pharmaceutical
company that
company.
made it. Now, there's nothing wrong with them making a profit. They spend, because of the FDA, billions of dollars to bring a drug to market. But the point is that if you have one that's basically free, it's so cheap, and another one that costs whatever it costs, why are you spending so much time and delaying to look at remdesivir? Is that what it is? Something like that.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an antiviral. But they're even saying that there are more caveats about using that than there are with the hydroxychloroquine. That
Let's
the,
see. So
so it's
we've got a couple comments in chat
oh,
here.
John said, yeah, I see that now. Yep.
John with an H says you can delete the app when the scare's over. John without an H says yes, you can delete the app, but being collected, that profile, that's the scary part. And exactly, John, that's the problem here. And the other thing too is is um is conditioning. I mean, that's what a lot of this stuff is conditioning people to think, oh, this is normal. To me, that's not normal.
That's
And
the new normal, they call it.
Well, and that's the thing to me, and I don't I don't intend to be the crazy tinfoil hat guy, but that's I think the goal here is that, oh, well, every time that there's, okay, so now every flu season you're going to install an app like this, right? Because so you can stay safe. It's just it sets a very scary chain of events that
You know
I'm not
what?
comfortable
But
with.
you're not
And
a
because I don't trust the people that are pushing this shit. That's the biggest issue.
you're
You
not
don't
a
have I
cons-
don't trust the people.
you're not a conspiracy theorist if you listen to what their own words say. If you're saying, "Oh, somebody heard that somebody said something," yeah, that's a conspiracy theory. But if you can listen to the person say, like Gates, if you go back and look through his lectures over the last couple of years, this is a guy that thinks that the Earth has too many people on it.
Dr. Gates,
Yeah, Bill Gates.
Dr. Bill
Yeah,
Gates.
Oh
Dr.
yeah,
Gates.
Dr.
Yeah,
Gates.
Dr.
Yeah,
Gates.
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Okay, yeah, I need to give him a call. I have an ache and pain. I need to discuss
Yeah.
with him.
Health
But
expert.
the point is that you have to listen to what they say, and it's out there. What's the funny part about it is that that stuff doesn't matter anymore. What I said before doesn't matter. The fact that I am one of those globalists that think we need to basically off a bunch of people to make the world better. It's like
I
you
think
have to look at context too.
I think dumb phones are going to become very popular again suddenly.
Okay, so I want to get into that, but hello, Gal. How are you this morning?
Hey, Gal.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
Oh, look at you, Mr. Hotshot with the new camera angle.
Well, yeah, needed
Yeah, look at that. Yeah.
this happened after I had to climb into my everything is behind my desk in this setting, and so when I set up everything, I said, "Oh, wait, I have a place where I can put the camera there."
So it's on the
Trying it out.
wall?
No,
Oh,
it's actually uh, on a monitor arm that there's no monitor on. It's
oh,
like because I replaced it.
nice.
Yeah.
So, Amnon, yes, these are making. I actually ordered one of these. So actually, maybe I am a conspiracy theorist. I ordered one of these phones. It's called the Alcatel Go Flip.
Mhm.
I ordered the Go Flip 2. It was $50 on Amazon, and it runs Android, but it is not a smartphone.
Right, and you're
So you
not going to
cannot
use it,
install apps. Now it does have 4G, so you can use it as a hotspot,
but you're
but it
not
does
going to
not.
use it. You depend too much on your.
Well, I'll
You
tell
you
you what,
depend a lot, not too much. You
if
depend.
the alternative is install this app to leave your house or get rid of it, I'll get rid of it. And now I've got my Alcatel Go Flip 2, which will be here later this week, hopefully,
Yeah,
and I'm ready to go. It's got a hotspot, so that's the important part. So you can carry around a laptop with you, and if you need to get on stuff, you can do so. But it does not have an app store. Yeah, they've got a couple different versions out. The Alcatel Go Flip and the Go Flip 2. Does it have an FM radio? I don't know. That's a good question. Let me look.
I mean, on one side, I don't mind to be notified that the person that I was working with and I was like within a foot of for hours was just diagnosed with that, was probably had it. But there are, I don't know if there are any better ways to do it.
Yeah, but here's the thing that I don't
It's
understand, and okay, maybe this isn't the right conversation to have,
But
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 maybe
you
I guess
know, but
there's
Amnon,
no
the thing
evidence
is
to prove that being near somebody is that's the
exactly
problem.
we're accepting their premise,
no, no. I
which
understand.
I don't
That's
accept their premise.
yeah. Well,
So
I mean,
that's the
it's
thing.
not.
It's like, how much liberty are you willing to give up for safety? What was that famous quote? Was
It,
it Franklin
I don't.
or
I don't think this is anything new. That if you're somewhere and somebody sneezes in your direction, you get alerted. You get alarmed. If I mean, a lot of places you go and you don't touch things because like you go to the bathroom, public
You don't
bathroom.
lick the urinals?
Yeah,
Oh, maybe that's why I'm so
you
healthy.
take a piece of paper and maybe you flush it. I mean, there
yeah?
are. I'm just little things like this. We're already used to that. So if somebody is wearing a mask, if somebody's sneezing, I mean, if I know that I'm just allergic and I'm like I said, I was telling Spence, I would. the afternoon. I mean, we set out all day, and in the afternoon, suddenly I started sneezing, and it would go in my throat. And if I'm going to go somewhere and I know that I may sneeze, I'll put a mask on just in
Of
order
course.
not to alarm other people that may see me sneeze. At least I have a mask.
So you
But
don't, in case you run into Karen.
so there should be a middle ground, and I think everything now is being done hastily. And okay, let's do it, do it, do it, do it. Yeah, right now, right now. Yeah, we'll worry about the problems later. And
Exactly,
and
and
and you heard
that's the issue, is right. So the wide solution to this issue is install an app that tracks you wherever you are
right.
and supposedly anonymizes the data. That seems like an overreaction to what's actually going on here.
What Cuomo came up with the thing that he said who somebody was saying that that may be the way to do it, that they're hiring people to do
No, that I heard
contact
the real
tracing, and I'm
the
saying,
real
"What?"
thing they want to do is they're going to release all the convicts from prison and assign one to everybody, just to keep track of you,
Oh,
follow
is
you
that
around.
what it was for?
Yeah, that's it. They need them to have a job when they're out, so they're going to give them each a job to follow.
I don't understand. You're in
Yeah.
prison. Leave them in the cell, perfect isolation. I can't afford to do that. I always
Apparently,
have
there've been
people
some
around.
outbreaks in prisons, though.
Well, that's the other thing I was thinking about when I heard that yesterday is, you're in any kind of office environment. If it's true that the virus spreads through droplets in the air, that means it'll go through the air conditioning.
Of
Because,
course.
yeah,
So
it's
again, the argument, you can go stand in a Walmart with 3,000
right,
other people, but you can't go to a beach.
right.
The California urgent care doctor made a point to say, he says, you can walk outside of the building he's in right now, and there's a restaurant that's open or something that's open where you stand in line with other people to pick up food,
Mhm.
right? But the little pizza place next door can't open,
Yeah,
where you could go inside and they could maybe limit it to 10 people to the entire, you'd be safer in there than you are in the line. He says everybody goes to Lowe's and walks around in Lowe's, and it's filled with, they've done studies about how the stuff spreads through the store, and you're exposed, but you can't go outside and sit in a park. It's
Yeah.
just it's insane.
Hey, Gal, I've got a question for you. What are you're up on the privacy thing. What are your thoughts on this these contact tracing apps that some of these European countries are using? You're muted.
I haven't looked into them. I didn't see how they're working. I mean, if any of these apps would have been open source and people would be able to see the data, I understand that not every layman will be able to understand it, but if it'll be open to enough people to
to see that
peer
they're
review
doing
it,
what they're supposed to be doing.
yeah, and the server code would be open source as well. I'm not talking about the encryption key containing the data and all that, but I'm talking about the actual code, the logic. I and it would have been distributed, something that anyone can run a server that is part of this network. I would participate if I can see the um, the benefit, uh,
Exactly.
right? And but if it's privately owned, or like a single point of location, a single server farm that contains all of the data, in these days, with these privacy concerns we have today, no way. I would I would rather not have a phone.
Yeah. I bought my flip phone. I'm ready to go.
Uh, ju- just shut off your phone. I don't need anything.
I mean, I need something.
No, you
Because
We'll
we
go
don't.
have
back.
the
We'll go back to the 70s where we didn't have the 80s where we didn't have a mobile
You
phone.
know, that's interesting. I thought about all of these other things. I've never thought about that. What if there is this movement? Oh, I'm being dead serious here. What if
Yeah.
there is just this movement to say, let's just buck the trend on this and say, screw it, I'm done. I'm not going to carry on. No, I'll use it inside my house, but I'm not going to carry it around with me anymore. That's very interesting.
I'll
it's
tell
funny.
you, we can start going to the iPod
Yeah, the iPod
era.
Touch and whatnot.
Yeah, we'll get smart devices that are not hooked up to the cellular network.
Yeah, Wi-Fi, baby.
It's
You'll decide whether you're switching it on or not.
So what
Hmm.
came first, just-in-time manufacturing or just-in-time information?
Just in time manufacturing.
But look at the way the supply chain works is that the raw materials a company needs to build a product show up the day before they need it. That's how tight the schedules are. That's why we're struggling now with the whole food industry,
Yeah.
with the fact that the processing plants are not up to capacity, and they've got animals in the system that are coming through, ready to go through the system, and they can't do it. They can't find a place to take them to, so they're killing them. So the supply chain is the same now with like uh, the the different materials that go into making drugs. They're delayed. They're supposed to be coming from somewhere to where the plants that manufacture them take them in and make the drug. Well, if they don't have the raw materials coming in based on a normal schedule, can't build it. So just-in-time manufacturing was something that they came up with. It's to save money, right? It does save money, but just-in-time manufacturing is subject to any disruption in transportation of the supply chain where things just stop. So just-in-time information is the idea that, what's the answer to that question? All you have to do is pick up your phone and Siri, Google, what's this? Oh, thank you. Where before you went to the library to find out an answer to your question. So
Yeah.
just in time.
Somehow with manufacturing, I don't see it working. I don't see it reducing cost. I just see it. So one of the things about one of the things I went to the supermarket, uh, sorry, Walmart supercenter the other day, looking for some I don't know, it was a brush I think, and so I went to the craft area, right? Completely empty. People are stuck at home with their kids, right? They need to figure out what to do with them, and so they bought a lot of
Everything.
craft material,
Mm.
right? So the craft area, it looks very much like the toilet paper area. The reason the craft materials are so cheap, though, right, is because Walmart, they plan their stocks probably 12, if not 24 months in advance. So they can
Yeah, but they
create.
don't take delivery of it 24 months in advance. They take delivery the day they need it to go into the store because they don't have any stocking in the
That's
store.
true. That's true. But that just means that everything is rolled out to the manufacturer. Now, Walmart, they didn't get hurt by this, right? They sold everything. And so their shelves are empty. The only thing they're not getting more profit than what they originally designed, but they already got their profit. So the problem with just-in-time manufacturing is you're rolling it over to the manufacturer.
Now, I'm talking about there's different kinds of industries that are affected in different ways. The consumer product industry is it's a finished product they're waiting for. I'm talking about Boeing. Boeing only makes 20% of their own airplane in-house. Everything else is farmed out to other companies that build components for them. We found out with the 737 and what's the 767 or 787 manufacturing now. Boeing has had to reduce their revenue numbers for a lot of different reasons, but they farm everything out where you have the fuselage is built in Chicago and there's something else built in Florida, and they ship that all together and it has to all arrive at the factory on schedule for them to build that plane. If one component is missing, the rest of the planes that are being assembled sit there and wait. That's what I'm talking about. It's where you have raw materials coming in. Automotive is the same way. There are hundreds and hundreds of manufacturers, small manufacturers that make a component for a car. It might be an engine is made in Europe or in Germany that comes and gets put into a car in a factory in the United States. Well, if that engine is late or the component to build that engine is missing because a factory in China can't make it, it screws it all up. So we have only so much lead time, only so much forgiveness we can get out of the whole just-in-time thing. The consumer finished products are different because if you make a roll of toilet paper, you put it in a wrapper, it's ready to go. But you don't have to wait for a wrapper coming from a separate place to meet on the schedule. So that's what I mean. It's about there's a huge effect on just wait till we start to really see what's happening with the meat and produce markets that are of stuff that's being trying to be transshipped around the country and around the world. You've got a lot of produce comes in from South America. We don't realize that. And if that stuff gets disrupted because a ship has a sick crew, living in Alaska has shown me they depend upon barges coming up to bring up fresh food from the West Coast, and all goods come up by barge. It's too expensive to ship everything by plane. I've been in Alaska in the summer when there are things in the store shelves that are missing because the barge was late. They ran into a weather problem, they had a mechanical problem, whatever it was. Oh yeah, the barge isn't coming in, so we're low on this particular product. So it's the unintended stuff that and the stuff you don't think of when you realize that, hey, I just ordered a part for a car from a place out in Chicago that does drop shipping from factories. And they said, well, due to COVID, our shipments could be up to 2 weeks delayed. Why? If they have it in a factory somewhere, they can put a label on it and ship it. No, it's because they're getting it from somebody else. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, it's everything is attached somehow to something else, and it's just like dominoes. If one moves and falls, a lot of other things will fall, and you're
If
stuck with
nothing else, it's helped us to
yeah.
understand that
Uh,
and to maybe we can think about the advantages of bringing some stuff back into the
uh,
country if it's practical. I mean, some things it's just not going to be practical to do. But
all right, let's switch unless somebody has something else. But all right, so here's another drawback to. I mean, another problem that the virus. Face ID was a great idea until large swaths of the world were forced to wear face masks, rendering it largely useless. Apple
Hmm.
has apparently heard the pain. Users are reporting a subtle new feature in the latest developer version of iOS 13.5 that will make it easier to unlock your phone without having to take off your protective face mask. Video shows that Apple device with Face ID will jump to the backup passcode entry screen if it detects a mask. That is not helpful if you're unlocking your phone dozens of times a day, which a lot of us do. But it also helping to keep people safe by not forcing users to take off their mask and potentially exposing themselves to the virus. So yeah, I mean, Face ID. Oh, yeah. I mean, I remember Nick was talking about it. He doesn't like it, and
Nope.
other people said they didn't like the fact. You know what? Now they have my pictures too, my face. But here's another problem. You know, you put a mask on.
Well, okay, so while we're speaking of conspiracies, um, I was reading another thing about Face ID too. Is at one of these protests, um, out in I think it was out on the West Coast where they arrested some people.
Mm-hmm.
Um, when the police were arresting people, they'd pull their phones out of their pocket, hold the phone up to their face, and then start going through their phone. So you're handcuffed.
Hmm.
Yeah, that kind of weirded me out. I watched a couple videos where people were talking about what was going on with that, and I was like, "Oh man, I didn't even think about that."
So
You didn't
Simple.
what are they falling back on to justify doing basically a seizure?
I don't
Well,
think they need
they've
to
got you
fall back.
arrested, you're
Yeah.
inciting violence, whatever kind of bullshit they want to charge you with, and then they, "Oh, let's go through your phone. Let's make sure there's no, let's make sure you weren't, texting your friends to do anything illegal or, typical overreach."
And yet, where's the ACLU with this whole thing?
Oh, the
Usually that'd be
ACLU doesn't
something
care.
they jump on, but they're not. Mm.
No, they're still protesting that Muslim ban from 6 years ago that apparently Trump talked about. Um, but no, that's the kind of, that I thought that was interesting. It made me think about even using a fingerprint on my phone. You think about it, right? Let's say, I mean, I don't intend on getting arrested for anything, but let's say you do, and there's a text message on there about something that it may or may not be legal or not. That's a huge issue. If all they have to do is put your thumb up to your phone.
I don't know the ins and outs of this, but there were some discussions I saw online about there are provisions in the Patriot Act that allow there to be when you suspect that someone has malintent, it opens up a whole new way of addressing it that would
But you
frighten
can
people.
always say that you had suspicion.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be true. I mean, something that you did. It, oh yeah, I had suspicion. So then what?
Yep.
Yeah, is a problem. And here Nick, I know Nick will care about this since he likes football. The National Football League is giving Amazon exclusive rights to live games for the first time, marking a deeper push by streaming services into sports.
Oh, it's
S-
about time you didn't have to spend $350 a year on DirecTV. I
But
mean,
why
that's
just to
literally the only
Amazon?
way. Because Amazon won the bid.
Oh,
And that's what this is all about.
well, they
It's all
didn't.
about getting paid. But as of right now, if you would like to watch an NFL game legally, you have to have, and it's not on it's not over the air. It's not on a local station. The only way to do it is to have DirecTV. There's no other way to watch.
Hmm.
Now
Oh, okay. Now that
you can
makes
use a
more sense then.
VPN
Yeah.
and VPN out of the country and then purchase an NFL streaming package, but that's the only other way.
Okay. No, that makes sense now. I mean, when I saw it, I said, "What? What? What?
Yeah, but it's
What
all
does?"
but DirecTV's got the bid on it. DirecTV owns it.
Okay.
And I think that contract expires this year or next, which would be great if a stream. I mean, I wouldn't mind pay. I don't. This is the one thing that always I think gets misconstrued with people. Um, is like, oh, you don't want to pay for content. No, that's not true at all. I have no problem paying for content if you allow me to pay for it. But when the only, like, for example, I live in an apartment complex. Now, I wouldn't get DirecTV anyway, but I literally couldn't if I
Couldn't.
wanted
Yeah.
to.
Right.
I can't put a dish out. I don't have a place to put a satellite dish. So even if I wanted to purchase the NFL Sunday ticket from DirecTV, I cannot. It is impossible for me to purchase. So what options have you given me to watch football games?
Just
None.
find a nice tall tree out in the yard around your apartment complex and just
Yeah,
climb
and
up in
then
there.
find the DirecTV technician that will install it there.
Nah,
Yeah,
do
and
it
then
yourself.
string some coax up. I'm sure that won't be a problem. But it's like what they've given me no option but to stream it illegally. How there's literally no way for me to watch it. I could go to a bar, I guess, but I can't own it.
Hmm.
So that's starting to change because I think I think um what was that movie that just came out? The Universal movie, Trolls. Did anybody see anything about this?
I saw it, and they're now there's theaters want to block them from showing Universal films in the future
Yeah,
because they
AMC
bypassed
is
everybody.
yeah, AMC is doing that. So this movie Trolls was supposed to come out in the theaters, and it's not. Um, so they released it online, and they released it for streaming. So for $15, or you could rent it for $4. It was available the day it came out, I think.
Yep.
Yeah,
I don't remember what theater chain now?
AMC.
AMC? Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw that Star Wars movie has been released early on Disney Plus. That was something I read was interesting, is that Disney is hemorrhaging money. They're doing good on the streaming side, but they couldn't grow it that great. But with their parks closed, they are losing something like $30 million a day.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
just so this is cool. So my pricing was wrong. So for $20, you can rent this movie, Trolls, the World Tour, the new one that just came out, and they made a fortune. They made a fortune on it. So I just think that goes to show you people are willing to pay for content if you can make it readily available for them.
Well, that's only because they're cooped up at home and their kids are climbing the wall.
Well, yeah, but in the same vein, Gal, I could go and download this and not pay for it. So could a whole bunch of other people. But you make it readily available at a cost that is worth, seems like it makes sense, and there you go. They made millions on this.
It'd be
And
interesting to see what their final numbers are when they add up how they add up the domestic and international and all that stuff, how it affects their total revenue from the movie. Because literally, they don't have to worry about distribution. They don't have to worry about how many copies of the film digitally was sent out, and they don't have to worry about the tracking numbers coming in from theaters. And they know what they're going to make.
You know what's
Interesting.
making what looks like making a comeback?
drive-ins.
Yeah,
Yes.
which
Did you
is
see
There was a
nice.
whole bunch of drive-ins up in New York before I moved. There was 3 of them. I went to them pretty regularly. There's none down here though.
No, there used to
There's
be
one in
one.
Greensboro.
There used to
Hmm.
be one
Yeah.
right there where 70 and 401 meet, in right before Garner. But yeah, it would be fun.
Gal,
Drive-ins are great.
Have you ever been to a drive-in?
Nope, never. There
Drive-ins
was
are great.
one in Tel Aviv, but I think it's actually still standing. But I've never been.
It was a part of our growing up
Culture.
that was just so incredible.
Yeah.
Because you didn't have to pay for kids. You could load the car up with kids, and usually you'd go, and my parents would want to see a movie. And then back then, there wasn't anything really, even if it was an adult movie, it didn't mean there were things in it that kids couldn't see. But you'd go, and they'd have a short for kids, cartoon or something, and then we'd all fall asleep, and my parents would watch the movie. And then we left, and we get carried in the house at the end. We didn't even know when we got
Yeah,
home.
but there was something else that you have to take into consideration. There was room in the car.
Oh
You
yes,
could
yeah.
sit comfortably and you could go to sleep. I mean, you take
Yeah.
a Toyota today, a little
Yeah.
Toyota with 3 kids. No, you're not going to be able.
No, but the cool thing about the drive-in today is, for example, if you have like a pickup truck or an SUV or
Oh yeah.
something, you can open up the tailgate.
Yep.
And load it up with stuff. And yeah.
I had
I'm-
the last time I went to drive-in with my kids, we had a big van, a full-size van. So I'd back it into the space and open the back doors.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Yeah.
Pam and I would sit outside on the ground in front of that, and the kids would be inside, and they would fall asleep when they were ready. Turn the seat around so they could face us like the theater.
Yeah, drive-ins are awesome. I really enjoyed going to the drive-ins.
A good friend of mine, Jim.
Yeah.
Amnon. He was a projectionist at a drive-in. Interesting stories he tells.
All right. Here's something to bite into. Walmart is launching a new delivery service called Express Delivery that will get purchased items to a customer's home in less than 2 hours.
Damn.
The company announced on Thursday. The new service could be helpful if you need to get items in a hurry while respecting shelter in place orders during the COVID-19 pandemic. You will be able to use express delivery for more than 160,000 items, including groceries, everyday essentials, toys, and electronics. So Nick said, damn.
Yeah,
Express
that's great.
delivery will cost $10 in addition to the regular charge for delivery.
So
Unless,
you're cooking on Sunday and you realize you don't have your cilantro.
yeah,
You can order
that's right.
emergency
And a
delivery.
50 cents bunch of cilantro will cost you 10.50 plus. But anyway,
Hey,
Express.
it's
So unless you're a member of the company's Delivery Unlimited subscription service,
Bing,
ooh,
bing, bing.
yeah. How much
in
is
which
that?
case you just pay $10 for express delivery. See, that doesn't cover the $10. That
No, it's no
covers.
different than Amazon. It's no different than like Amazon Prime, where you can do
Well,
like a
so they
you can
say
do like a rush
similar
shipping.
to Amazon Prime Delivery Unlimited costs $98 annually or $12.95 per month. So yeah, there's something you can go to what is it, Amazon Now or something like that, Prime Now,
Prime
Yeah.
now.
and you can get stuff within a couple hours, but it's very limited.
Yeah, because it's based on their stock
Yeah,
availability next to
local
you.
stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, and it's only available in cities that have a distribution or
right.
close to cities, close enough to cities that have distribution. So it's interesting. I mean, it's I mean, Walmart is doing it these days with because of the virus, because of shelter in place. There'll be more people taking advantage of it, and they may sign up for it because they, oh look, which
Right.
other
It's a,
times, if it was normal times, people would say, "Nah, I'm not going to pay that."
no, it's an ideal time to roll this
Yeah,
service out. I just
absolutely.
hope it's ready, right? Because
Well,
it's
we'll see.
obvious that they've been working on it for a while, right? It's not like, oh,
Right.
we just thought about this, right?
Yep.
It's I just hope that it's ready, because if they roll it out and it's a mess, then that would
Then
be too
it's
bad.
it's going to kill it completely. Yeah,
Yeah. Because
absolutely.
Prime Now definitely needs competition, right? It is an amazing service when it
Yep.
works. So when there's and I think Nick has been saying it for ages. Like Walmart, they have the stock next to you,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah,
that's
and there's no
definitely
such thing. I mean,
interesting.
every city has a Walmart.
Um, yeah, most, well, not every. I mean, Manhattan doesn't have a Walmart, right? So
Are you serious?
yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
I
Walmart.
don't.
People literally didn't want it.
Oh, oh well.
No.
Yeah, they're too privileged.
No, I think it also has to do with the real estate price.
Oh
You
yeah,
see
yeah.
Walmarts in a lot of areas where they can build a parking lot, right? You cannot
Yep.
do that in Manhattan. So
That's true.
yeah,
Not that
It's funny
size
how
parking. Yeah.
the city of Juneau in Alaska, which is a locked, you can only get there by boat or by plane. There's no roads going to it from the mainland. They had a Walmart, it closed because it wasn't popular. People were afraid it was going to put all the mom and pop shops out of business. So
mhm.
nobody went. And now they have a Costco and they all love it. So that was one of the things when you did a tour. I did a short stay there end of one summer to help out. When you did a tour, you drove by what was the old Walmart. You pointed it out to say this is one of the only places in the country where Walmart opened and closed because nobody went to it.
Guys, can you tell that Spence's audio is getting lower, or is it just me?
No.
Lower?
No,
No. Is my
sit
audio
up. Yeah.
lower
No, I
now?
mean all you guys are bringing the VU meter all the way up, almost yellow, and with him it's just like 2 or 3
Is
lights.
my audio lower now?
Yeah.
Lower
Um,
now.
here's another gaming and stuff. Nick. Intel released more information about their next generation CPUs, codename Comet Lake. Overall, CPUs will get more cores and threads and slight speed boosts. price-wise, Intel is cutting prices to be more competitive with AMD Ryzen processors. So thank you, AMD, right
Are you telling me that competition works?
there. Some of the downsides include requiring new socket, thus new motherboards. It's an LGA 1200 and lack of PCIe 4.0 compatibility. So you need a new motherboard. No specific benchmarks were released. However, Intel claims to have the fastest gaming CPU. And I mean, for years and years, we said that the AMD and Intel and whoever else, uh, their development is being dictated by gamers,
Well,
by
here's the other thing
games.
too to notice about to note about that story is it's the fastest gaming CPU, yes,
Yeah.
but it's also that's the big thing that AMD has they've done really well with the Ryzen series is they aren't the fastest processors, but price per performance, they're kicking Intel's ass, and that's the key.
Okay.
Is I mean, you can buy the fastest car in the world, but it doesn't make it the most efficient car to drive. And I mean, that's kind of what Ryzen's done really well is you can get a very good processor like the R9 3900X for like $400. And yes, the i9 9700K is a faster processor, but it's almost double the freaking price. So, you know, yeah, that's a huge part of the conversation there is, fastest is good, but it's also got to be, price per performance is a huge thing when you're, in terms of PC components for sure.
Well, it serves the purpose. It serves us as the end users to have that competition.
Oh yeah, it's been great. And
Oh,
Intel becoming what word to use? Complacent with being in char in the lead
sure.
allowed AMD to come in from the rear and totally blow them out of the water with the Ryzen chipset. So I mean it worked out.
Yep.
The FX series from AMD was such a piece of junk that Intel had to do nothing but coast with the I series. But Ryzen's come in. I mean, I've watched video after video. For example, people know Linus Tech Tips. Um, he's building. I think they have 8 or 9 full-time editors that work there. He's building new editing workstations for those users. He's putting AMD Ryzen CPUs in those computers. That's crazy. And this is a guy that's going to be using these computers for the next 3 to 5 years at incredibly high um, production rates,
Mhm.
and he's going with the Ryzen chipset.
Didn't Apple threaten at one time to do away with their relationship with Intel? I
Well,
remember
didn't they with
something
the Power PC days?
no, I mean, when they because they're all Intel based now,
Yeah.
when
Oh,
they signed that contract, didn't they threaten to say, "We were gonna also look at other manufacturers of"
they're going to release next year or so, their own process
Oh, okay, so they're
in
not
their
gonna go with
computers.
AMD. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It'll be interesting to see.
Well, the first Ryzen laptop just came out. Um, I think
And
Are
MSI
there
makes it.
restrictions because of, form factor on how many cores?
Well, and that yeah, exactly, that's the thing is the Ryzen chipsets are great. They're not good for mobile. They don't well,
Mm.
not that they're not good for mobile. They're not as good for mobile as the Intel chips are. But I know Ryzen or AMD is working on changing that.
So you have to carry around a giant toaster-sized heatsink to, use your,
and battery.
No, that was the FX series. That's why those
yeah.
never made it to laptops.
Mm.
Those things are pieces of junk. Oh, Spence, I got my check by the way.
Oh, g I did too. Oh, no,
How much did you
yeah,
get? Did you
30
get like
something bucks. Yeah,
$30, 42 cents?
yeah,
Yeah, me
yeah,
too.
something like that.
The
It
AMD lawsuit.
went into the bank.
Yep.
Literally, I took the check from the mailbox and deposited it with my phone to make sure
Yeah.
that it didn't go bad.
I deposited mine last night. I got it last
Yeah.
week. See if I can show it. So
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
this was my where's the check number? This is my check. My
Yeah.
my AMD Dickey versus Advanced Micro Devices Incorporated. $30.42. That's a pretty large settlement for the amount of people that buy AMD processors.
Plus, I only paid like
Like
$140
$160
for the processor, so it was pretty good.
CPU. Yeah.
I'm still this the machine I'm on now. This is the machine that I built, paid for. So
Yeah, I don't use mine anymore, but yeah. So I bought deposited to my bank yesterday, and there we go, sitting high.
You quit work for about 2 months.
Yeah, I did. I'm done working. I'm loaded.
can I bring up an actual computer question?
Nah.
Do you
No,
want to do it
so-
now, or
Right,
you
so-
want to do it after the special?
Oh, it'll be quick. I just
All right.
it was an interesting because I haven't spent this kind of quality time working on an issue for a while. But the i3 desktop I use, this would never be a problem. It works great. But I wanted to. I was recording something in the background using a microphone. I have a series of lectures that I paid to subscribe to for a certain period of time, and because I'm not going to be able to, the subscription ends soon, I wanted to record them. So I did. I've been recording them, and I literally take my microphone and set my phone against it and play it. So I wanted to listen to another audio on my other computer. So I'm thinking, well, I'll just plug it into the front jack. I have the speakers are plugged into the back jack, and I'll plug it into the front jack. I could not switch jacks. There was the app there. This is a Realtek audio manager is usually what's on there. And when I built this machine, it was there, but it went away with a Microsoft update. So I spent close to 4 hours trying to fix this problem and trying to figure out the manager app does not exist standalone. You have to download the driver package to install the manager. And even when you do that, it doesn't mean that it will work or show up. So back and forth, remove the driver, add the driver, remove the driver, try different versions of the driver, try to find them online because they added Windows 10 support, but the last time the driver was changed was probably back in 2015 or 14. So I actually got it to work, but not the way I expected.
I
So I could
never
actually switch to the front.
I never tried it, but I don't think that the front jacks are any different than the back jacks.
They are. You
Well,
have to select them. It's
you
the same
can
sound
select
card.
them back and forth.
Yeah.
You know, back
select
and
them.
forth, yeah. But
For example, you
have
can't have
two
something plugged
microphones.
into the front microphone jack and the back
Right.
microphone jack and use them because they're on the same bus.
Right.
You have to be able to
Yes.
select between them. Yeah. And
Right.
without the
That's what
Realtek
I mean.
audio manager, you can't do that.
So
Yeah.
but it was interesting just to and actually I have to say it was almost like a calming experience. I know that doing this stuff was always therapy for me to get away and just work on a problem and figure it out. But it was good. It was and some great pages of information that I found, forums and all that. And actually on one of the Microsoft sites they actually had a link I had to have to find. It was good. It was not the Microsoft the main one, but it was some type of Microsoft Associates thing. It was definitely Microsoft specialists, or what do they call them? Microsoft
It's-
MCSE.
pros, yeah,
Mm.
something. But it was great. But yeah, I figured it out.
All right. You ready for
All
a
right.
special?
Sure. Yeah, it's 10 o'clock. Oh yeah, good timing.
Nick, are you ready for special?
Absolutely.
So today, literally by popular demand, and that's Amnon saying, well, you guys both brought it up, didn't you?
No,
Last week?
Nick.
Yeah.
Nick brought
Yeah,
it up. not me.
do Harbor Freight.
Yeah,
Right?
absolutely.
Why not do Harbor Freight? So I went into their latest ad, and we're going to cover every tool in the Harbor Freight catalog, all 3,465 of them in alphabetical order first, and then by size.
Start with the start with the $7 angle grinder that you
Okay.
can get.
Yeah, actually, there is a $7 angle grinder. You're right. Now there definitely are some caveats we have to get out of the way. Number one, we are not endorsing these tools, right? Except to say that Harbor Freight serves a great purpose, and they're
Absolutely.
actually changing their model is changing now. They're actually getting more high-end tools. They're actually getting brand name tools. You can go in there and buy brand name. I was amazed. I was there the other day buying something, but there's no better place for inexpensive tools that you need to use once.
Yep.
Or just put it in the toolbox. You might use it every 5 years, for example, for a good price. It's not great stuff. You have to be careful. Always wear eye protection. Always protect yourself. And these are not, even Craftsman tools can be suspect now. Another tool, proto tools and all this.
Is
But
the eye protection okay to buy from them?
Oh, yeah.
no.
What do you mean no?
Because they have 99-cent safety glasses.
Yeah, that's
How
what I
good
use.
can they be? How good can they be?
Oh, come on. They work just
No,
fine.
it's okay. But the point is that Harbor Freight is a great source. I bought several things in. I'll talk about it. But one thing I bought I love is I bought a tile saw from them. And it has been used and used and used and used. And it normally lives over at my son's garage because I don't have room for it. I have it here now because I'm going to do a tile project. But the point is that I would never have been able to afford this quality. And I've used it on job sites. I backed into it once with my car and knocked it over, and it was okay. So it was really a good deal. There are some really good. I did buy us a um, compound sliding miter saw that I was very disappointed in, but I didn't pay a lot for it. I'll talk about that too. But good stuff. All right,
So did
Computers
you
2K
ever?
Now specials. We divert into the field off the highway here now and into Harbor Freight Tools, May 3rd, 2002. Okay. The weird part about this is as I go through this, there's a lot of these tools in here that I have either used or could use. So we can address each one. If you don't have a set of sawhorses, I need them mainly because I do a lot of projects in my garage and I literally have so much stuff in there that all my counter space is covered with stuff. I don't have a place to work. But inexpensive folding sawhorses, you can find them at Lowe's, but I don't know if you can find them this cheap, but you can get them for $8.99 each. And they take up no room. You can stick them behind something against the wall. Very, very handy. I am actually looking at buying this next item, of something like this. With the purchase of my sidecar motorcycle, this is not the kind of thing you're going to take on a long trip. But you might want to go out to the Blue Ridge Parkway and take it with you on a trailer. So they have a folding trailer here. They actually have two versions of it. I don't know if I covered both of them. I may have had the second one in here somewhere. But they do have a couple of different versions of them. But a folding trailer, flatbed trailer, now it's not used for picking up mulch because there's no sides to it unless you build the sides. But
You
this
could
is
build it out, yeah.
a bare bones trailer that you have to actually lay the decking on. 1,720-pound capacity of 4x8 size folding trailer. Great. I mean, you can go buy a motorcycle trailer that would handle my sidecar. It costs you $3,000. So to build something that would work, excellent. Harbor Freight is also a good place to buy wire-based. I think they do sell some wireless stuff too. But surveillance systems here, they have a Cobra 4. I think it's 8-channel 4-camera wired surveillance system for $199. A good price. The next two tools here, it's probably worth it. If you have a project where you need this, you could buy it once and it will pay for itself. There's two things. One is a small, like portable scaffold. If you're doing anything to do with ceiling work, molding, ceiling work, it's excellent. And $169 is your choice. That or a sheetrock lift will lift a 4x8 sheet up to the ceiling or to the wall. And you can do the stuff with one person. These are really, And actually does say OSHA and ANSI certified, which I would expect with a tool like this, you want it to be from a safety perspective. Okay. Is this the amount, the level of detail you guys want on this stuff?
Keep
Too
going.
much, not enough? All right. If you don't have a set of gear wrenches, if you're a real wrench head and you do a lot of work, these tools, it's like a normal open end box wrench, meaning there's one side of the tool is open in like a C shape, and the other side is a closed
Open end and closed
open
end.
end box. Yeah.
Box.
So
Yep.
these are the same concept, but the closed side is actually a ratchet.
Right.
So depending on what side you put onto the head of the bolt, you turn it and it will release coming back, and you can keep turning it without having to lift it. My goodness, these are handy. I have this in both metric and English sizes. Wow. If you don't have a set, $19 for either a metric or English size.
Yep.
Good stuff. If you do a lot of work on cars and you need safety for making sure the car stays in the right position, solid rubber wheel chocks for $4.99. That is a great deal. I use 4x4s. I do have some old plastic chocks, which I actually threw away because it said discard after 10 years. I didn't see that until I looked at it close, and I realized I had them for 25 years. So I threw them out, but I would like to get these rubber chocks. Okay. Sockets. Sockets that are impact sockets are not known for how pretty they are, but they're known for how strong they are to be used with impact tools. It doesn't mean you can't use them as a regular socket, but you can get a set of 37 3/8 and half-inch drive impact sockets for $23, metric and English. This is the way to go. But here's another tool that you might use once, but it will pay for itself. It is a shop press, a 20-ton shop press for $149. I almost bought this once when I was working on fixing the suspension. Remember those bushings I had to change, Amnon?
Yep.
We went over to Omar's.
Yep.
I was looking at buying this. It's just the problem was that where am I gonna put
It
my garbage?
works. It does the
work.
job.
Yeah. Yeah. But there are some tools that go with this that they don't include in this price that you would have to scrounge for to get it to work properly. But for pressing bearings and bushings and different things in and out of it's something you like if you're fixing a universal for a
Yeah, they
car,
can never sell
flagship.
everything. You always have to come up with your own.
Yeah.
so to speak.
Some
Yep.
type of a
Yep.
solution here. Okay, a rechargeable 1250 lumen rechargeable work light for $29. Handy. A set of 18-piece T-handle ball end hex key sets. If you do assembly and disassembly of anything that has a hex bolt instead of a hex head or a slot or a screwdriver or Phillips, something like that, this is a full set.
Yeah.
For $12.99. How many pieces is it? 18 pieces. This is amazing. You gave me that set. I still have that.
Yeah,
on the
it's
metric
not
set.
to open up a CV joint on a car.
No.
because it's
Well,
just
it's good for
just-
you might have to
It-
loosen it with something else, but if you're
Yeah,
assembling
yeah.
and disassembling, this is just makes
Remember,
it so
it's
much
a
easier.
T-handle. You hold it with your hand and
Yep.
spin. So
Very nice.
Yep.
If you don't have a forklift, a hand truck, I should say, not a forklift, they've got a good deal. Don't buy a really cheap one. The really cheap ones are junk, but this one is a decent one for $50. It's an 800-pound with pneumatic tires. This is exactly the one I have. No, I didn't buy this one, but it's just the same type I have. They've got a deal, again, the cheapest place you can find it on a 3.5 cubic foot cement mixer, electric cement mixer for that one-off job. It'll pay for itself. Good deal. This next tool, $1.99, really handy. It's got 3 adapters. If you took and put this in the end of your drill, your driver drill, or if you have a power screwdriver that accepts a hex, this can take your 1/4, 3/8, and half-inch sockets and adapt them to work with your drill. I wouldn't say it's an impact tool. It's not going to loosen tight bolts, but for disassembling and assembling something and saving steps and saving your wrist, if you have arthritis like I do, these are wonderful tools, $1.99. You can't have enough tool bags, whether it's a tool bag or a pouch. I actually buy these when they are on sale at Home Depot. They usually will run a sale where they have the tool bags half price, so they're $4.99. I buy a bunch of them and I throw them up on the shelf in my garage. And then when I decide I want to have a go kit, I have an electrical go kit, I have a plumbing go kit, I have a sanding go kit, I have a painting go kit for my company. So I have these and I load them up with the specific tools I need for that. So I don't have to look through these giant bins. Well, where is that wrench? Where is that pair of pliers or that adapter or whatever? So I
Yep.
have these kits and I label them electrical, plumbing, and it's really handy. $6.99. You can. This is good, but you can get them cheaper at Home Depot. Really nice ones for $4.99 when they're on sale. If you do stuff that's noisy, especially if you're young, if you're older, you're probably aware of the fact that your hearing is compromised because of loud noise. But if you're young and you work with power tools, lawnmowers, chainsaws, noisy stuff, get yourself a couple of sets of earmuffs. Earplugs are fine, but these earmuffs, they really will protect your hearing. And get a couple of them and stick them around your shop. Put one in the truck, put one in the garage, put one in your shed where your lawnmower is, so that you, for $4.99, yeah, they're not super quality, but protect yourself. Good deal. Okay. Um, if you prune your own trees, they have a deal, $59 for a 9.5 foot pole saw, electric chainsaw. The good news is you can use it both on the pole or as a small standalone saw without the pole, which is cool, convertible, $59. If you don't have a couple of small dollies around your workshop, $11.99 for a 30 by 18-inch dolly. I got a couple of these in the garage, just moving stuff around. All right. Who works on their car that needs a jack? I have a professional craftsman
You
3-ton
always need a jack.
floor jack, but I actually have two of them, a small one and a big one. But at this price, if I didn't have one, I would buy this, because aluminum, number one, is a lot lighter. For $59 for an aluminum jack and what they call a rapid pump, where it's spring loaded. So if you step on um, the pump lever, it will come up to the top to touch the thing you're trying to lift. So you don't have to actually jack it up. So it is a time saver. But 1.5 ton lightweight aluminum floor jack. And you guys work in your gardens. Do you have a garden sprayer that you have maybe 1 gallon or 2 gallons? You lug it around, you go back, you fill it up, you lug it around, you fill it up. Here is a 4-gallon backpack sprayer for $19.99. So same concept, bigger tank, has straps, you can put it on your back. I love it. I spray that wet and forget stuff around my house to spray it on surfaces that get moldy. And this would be great to be on a ladder to go up and spray
Yep.
the house. Okay, 2 versions of table saws here. The inexpensive version, and there are probably competitive things you can buy at Home Depot and Lowe's, but look at the quality. If you just need a table saw once in a while, a benchtop one is nice because you can stick it on a shelf and then take it out when you need it. $114. And this is actually competitive. They have a couple of brands now at their own internal store brands named. One is called Hercules, and they have a 10 amp, 15 amp, 10-inch job site table saw for $239, which is actually pretty good. Sometimes they get you with these prices where there's no blade. So watch for that. I wouldn't say that having the blade come with it is important, because the one they'll give you is not great. This next thing, the 10-inch working platform step, they have these in different lengths. I have one of these that's about 3 feet long. But if you do stuff where you're working up high and you want to be able to stand on a platform, you don't need a ladder. It's easy to move around. $19, 18-inch high working platform. These are very handy. We know who this next guy is. I just threw his picture in there. Talked earlier about the compound sliding saws. Different qualities. Don't buy the cheap one. I bought the cheap one. The problem with it is that it doesn't work well. It doesn't repeat well. When you cut something and you want it to be square, every few cuts I have to go in there and make sure it's adjusted right. It was an inexpensive model. And you have some better ones now. But I keep my old one because if I'm doing flooring and I want to cut laminate, the cut exactly square when it's going up against the wall, it doesn't have to be perfect. And it's a good saw for that. But for doing good stuff, I have a new DeWalt that I got on special at Lowe's
So
that I
scratch
use.
this, people. Don't buy this one.
No, this is
No,
a
no,
better one.
don't. I mean, the Walt is what you buy.
Oh, I like that. If you're going to be in the business of using it, and I actually have a professional stand for it too, which is awesome. What a deal I got. At, they had it on
Next.
sale, and they had a free stand. So you just can't get that deal.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've got different qualities, but I would not buy the cheapest one. Okay, if you need a temporary shelter, this is a great price. It's got walls and a front to it. So if you need to store, I wouldn't say say it was a permanent thing. I actually have my motorcycles out in a shelter like this in the yard now while I'm working in my garage on other stuff because it just can't fit everything in there. No, it's that same tool bag again. I didn't realize I put it in there twice. This was a different one. Actually, it's $1 cheaper. If you have a garage that's limited space like I do, you can actually come up with these dollies that you can put the car on a dolly that picks the wheels up, and you can now move the car around the garage. I used to do this. The Beetle I had on, I made my own dolly set.
The trick,
set the car on.
the thing about it is that it's not just to move your car; it's to move your car sideways.
Sideways, you can spin it around.
Yeah,
it's great. You can turn it around in a circle. So when I was painting it, I built my own dolly out of wood with casters, and I set the car in it, and you would just push it around. You push it out of the way, work on it, pull it back, push it out of the way. Pretty cool. Expensive.
It's not to park your car every day in the garage and move it sideways.
I remember a friend in New York
what is this there? No, never mind.
You remember the original Honda car that had a motorcycle engine in it? Years and years ago, the very first Honda car was actually like a two-seater that literally had a motorcycle engine in it. And I had a friend who had one of these, and he had it like basically had people help him lift it up and put it like behind the stairs in his garage. It's great. He could have used this. All right, compressors, all kinds of quality, all kinds of features. I prefer oil lube ones over the non, because the non ones are so dang loud.
Yep.
And I think the oil lube ones will last longer. But match the job to what you're trying to do. You buy a compressor. I don't think you need more than 135 pounds. That's a lot of pressure. My new compressor is 175 pounds capacity. But what you're looking for is what they call CFM, cubic feet per minute. If you look at the tool you want to use, look at the rated CFM, and even add more to that. If it's rated at 4, you need 6. And that means that you'll be able to deliver enough air to that tool to keep it working continuously. You'll see the tools are rated, air tools especially, it'll say compressor below this capacity, intermittent or not recommended. Compressor at this capacity, intermittent. Compressor at this capacity, continuous use. So it depends on what you're doing. But if you just need a knockaround compressor, this is 20 gallon for under $64 is a pretty good deal. And if you're using it to inflate tires, you want to do a little painting, run a few air tools like a impact wrench or something, good. But if you want to do sanding or dedicated paint spraying,
you are listening to Tools 101.
Yeah. So, okay. And here's a 3/8 hose by 50-foot retractable setup for the compressor. So you can just pull the hose out when you need it and then run it back up onto the wall. I have something like this. It's not real convenient, but it works. If anybody, we're almost next to the last page. So we're moving along here.
Yeah, let's go fast.
Yeah. Welders, they have some good welders, and they have a $99 flux welder. Flux welding works.
Spence, I don't think you need to get into all those details because we need to mention one thing that, and I think you agree. If you go to Harbor Freight, you already know what you need. You don't go there and ask somebody, I'm going to do this. What should I buy?
That's true. They don't. That's true.
So, so anybody who would go, they know welders. What flux is. They know what the other one.
You want to teach yourself welding, $99, you can buy a flux welder.
Yeah.
You can actually get MIG, get up into professional stuff. They do sell some very good professional companies, stuff made in the United States. You need a good mask, $44 for auto darkening mask. They work good. I have one. The next couple of things are more, it's all automotive stuff. Inexpensive prices on, these are inspection cameras, good deals. If you want to, these are not the cheapest thermometers they sell. They do sell infrared thermometers, but these are the professional type.
Did you
Of
do
a little
a
higher quality.
colonoscopy with those inspection cameras?
Do you what?
I knew somebody was going to ask that.
Colonoscopy.
You
That's it.
could.
Yeah. Hey, we can open up a clinic. People will go, keep
Exactly.
looking for places. All right.
Good
You
Professional
guy.
just lube it
screen.
up and shove it in. No,
Yeah.
It's like-
Well, we could do a thing where cars pull up and people just stick their butts out the window as we go
a
by.
drive-through.
Yeah. The
Oh,
if anybody's worked on air conditioning and different systems on cars, the connectors that they have, these are all the adapters you could use to open those connectors, which could be daunting. If you're interested in doing air conditioning, they have gauge sets starting at $59 to work on cars. And also vacuum pumps, which are a necessary part of doing any kind of air conditioning repair. If you're going to open the system, you need a vacuum pump. Okay. Things to do, tools for brake jobs, vacuum pumps for doing one-person brake jobs, brake bleeder sets, vacuum pumps, all that stuff they've got at good prices. If you take stuff apart on cars, they've got ball joint separator tools and bearing installation and removal tools, good prices, dent removal. I have a couple of these things. I have the spring compressor for replacing
not
struts.
for the faint of heart.
That's for the what? Oh, no, not
No,
this kind.
no,
I've used the
I
kind with-
wouldn't recommend anybody do it at home unless you really know what you're doing.
Well, you have to. The good news is that some don't really require all that much compression, which is good. But if you have to turn this, if you use this tool and you have to turn it more than 4 or 5 times to free up the spring, it's too much.
You can get
rent
hurt
or get for
really
free
easy.
at the auto parts store. You can get a spring compressor, ball joint separators, and finally, if you're into working on your own car diagnostics, there are some good tools out there for your smartphone. I have one in particular I really like, but it's only $99. It's the Bluetooth version, and you run your phone, and it gets constant updates. But these are the fixed tools for reading your OBD, onboard diagnostics. The simple ones just give you the code. The more expensive ones, as you get up, will let you actually cancel codes or actually do tests. So they have good prices there too on these. But again, understand what you're buying and why, what you need it for. So, okay.
Yep.
Computers 2K now. We went off. We'll come back out of the weeds now onto the main road again.
We are. Thanks, Spence.
All right. You're welcome.
Yes, thank you, Spence. That was good. That was cool. I like that.
We should have
What's
a
some
tool-
other?
a
Let's
tool
do
show.
let's do Aldi's next week. We'll do,
Well, I'm telling you, asparagus, they've got a deal.
what? Okay, now here's not. What about Ollie's? Do they have a cell
Ollie's,
phone?
yeah.
Ollie's, yeah, actually, I get their catalog.
You should. Let's see if.
Yeah.
I wonder if they have an online ad. Ollie's next week could
They
be.
do have an
interesting.
online ad.
Yeah, you'd be like,
Uh,
oh, look at this. Buy 7 pool noodles, get 1 free. Just $1.99 a piece.
They have an air fryer for $39 this week. They do. I sent it to my daughter because she was looking for an air fryer.
Dirtbag. Ollie's is not a crap store. Ollie's is a fine establishment. Take that back.
All this
Well,
is
you know-
amazing. I don't know what you were.
Dirtbag's a hater, and I don't appreciate that.
when they get a closeout, they buy a bunch of stuff. They had big bottles of shampoo that were made in Israel called Dead Sea Products or something like that, where they used, I don't know why it
That's
has
the
that name.
Premier DSP.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
they had for $2.99, they had these giant bottles. I bought 4 or 5 of them, and I'm still using the first one now for 6 months. And what a deal. I mean,
you
gee-
must have bought it during Hanukkah, so it will last for a long time.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. What a good idea.
Ah,
Yeah, next week. I'll help you with it if need be. The Ollie's ad. I don't even know if they have an ad.
They do.
yeah, they
they do.
do.
All right. Let's see what's next. We talked about SMR drives last week. The Western Digital published theirs. Well, Toshiba has just published a full list of the consumer hard drives in their lineup that use SMR technology. This comes after a whole submarine consumer SMR HDD fiasco, and fresh on the heels of Western Digital publishing a full list of all their consumer HDDs using SMR. So now with this, Seagate is the only hard drive vendor which has not yet published a full list of the consumer drives using SMR. Um, I don't know what they're waiting for. I don't know if they're trying to hide something. It's very interesting. But look online if you have any Toshibas or you're thinking about Toshibas. They just uh, published their list.
Um,
Yeah.
Speaking of video chat, Google has has released their Zoom competitor.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's
the
called
meat.
Meet, which essentially is like Google Hangouts that they got rid of,
Yeah.
but
Well, did they get rid
it's
of it? Oh, they got
kind
rid
of.
of
They stopped.
Meat. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm talking about
Yeah.
Hangouts though.
Yeah.
It's more like Zoom than anything else, but it's another video chatting service that I would imagine is completely based on the Google Hangouts backend because they'd already
Yeah.
built all this.
Yeah.
And it's now free for all Google users, which is, everybody. I think everybody's got a Gmail account anyway. So this might be a good approach to take. And obviously, the Zoom 40-minute time limit can be problematic in certain environments. So
Well,
this might be.
this is 60 minutes.
Yes, exactly. So you get a little bit more time on that. But I don't believe there's a pro version.
No,
Um,
you
so,
can
so
buy it, uh and just to make everybody aware that yeah, it's 60 minutes, but they are not going to enforce the time limit until sometime in September.
oh, that's good.
They
So
said,
it's
so you
essentially
can
free.
use it. Yeah, so it's essentially free, right? But yeah, you can
Hmm.
buy if you go to the uh, Google Meet page. You have there is a pro and there is a
Hmm.
middle of the road, and then there is the lower end, free.
Yeah,
So,
I'll give it a try this week. Um,
but if the
See what it's
video is
like.
the same as the Hangout, and if they didn't make it
Yeah, but unlike the
so
Hangout, there are different view modes like Zoom where you can do like the Brady Bunch
the
style
gallery, yeah,
thing, and that's Hangout's biggest issue is that
doesn't
there's one video mode. That's it.
correct.
It's just
Yeah,
focus. So
no, I'm
I'll
talking
give it a
about
try this week
I'm
and
talking about
see
video
what it's like.
quality.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Google Hangouts
Uh,
video quality is all right. I mean, it's not great, but for what it is,
Yeah,
it's fine. Hmm.
but yeah. So
Oh,
here's another competitor.
yep. Meet.google.com
Yeah,
is the URL.
and you can do the same thing. You can schedule, apparently. You can do everything that.
And if you use Gmail, it just shows up inside Gmail now.
Yeah.
Oh,
There's like a link. Use this. Try this. I haven't tried it yet.
and last Wednesday, I mean, we all buy from Amazon. The Trump administration Wednesday included Amazon's foreign websites in Canada, the UK, Germany, France, and India in its annual report on notorious markets for counterfeit foreign goods. The first time the US company overseas operation have been listed. So apparently there's a lot of counterfeit stuff going in those other uh I don't know what you would call them. It's the same company. Yeah, Amazon is Amazon, but on their websites in those different countries.
Well, this
I
has
don't
been a thing that this has been an issue on Amazon for a while now. It's just not depends on what you're buying, right? Like
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
big with it's big with sunglasses and sneakers from what I understand. Um there's a
And
lot of
apparently video cards.
yeah, but the video cards are not on Amazon. That's more of a Wish and
Eh,
AliExpress thing.
Okay.
Um but for like for example, I bought a pair of Ray Bans last year on Amazon because I was a jackass and lost my other pair. Um, and when I got them, I had to verify that they were, that they were real. Not because I was concerned that Amazon was screwing me, but there anybody. That's the one. That's the thing that Amazon's done a brilliant job at this, right? That was always the concern with eBay. Is like, oh, I don't trust third party sellers. They might try to screw me. That's all Amazon is now, essentially. I mean, is but they for some
Yeah,
reason have gotten past that. I almost everything I buy on Amazon is from a third party seller. It's no different than eBay.
right.
And with that, somebody buys knockoff Ray Bans from China, puts them in a box, says Amazon, hey, I've got 100 pairs of these. I buy it for $200. They spent $30 on the glasses, and
Mhm.
I'm walking around with fake glasses that I paid, MSRP for. So um, that is absolutely a problem, and I don't really know of a good way to. I mean, how do you confirm? I don't know.
Well, Bezos said that this is Trump's way of getting back at him.
Well,
Uh,
speaking of getting back at Bezos, the Congress called him to testify. The House Judiciary
yeah.
Committee called him to testify, saying he made misleading and possibly criminal or false allegations. So he he's kind of he's going up an interesting slope here. And it
I
has something
think
to do with financial information from third party sellers. Um, that's what the House Judiciary Committee is, some antitrust investigations that Amazon is. The claim, I believe, is that Amazon is a lot of these third party sellers, and they are misleading. Um, by the way, Amazon still doesn't make any money, which is an indication that they're doing some shady stuff behind the scenes. But there's some thought that they might be bolstering third party sellers to uh, jack up the prices of some things. So,
Isn't
it's
he the
amazing that people that own the stock in Amazon can make a fortune when the company doesn't make any money.
yeah, I mean, it's very interesting.
isn't he one of the richest people in the world now?
He is. He's worth
Yeah,
like
that's
10
all the money
gajillion dollars.
instead of going to the company goes to his private
Well,
account.
and that's the other thing too about net worths that are super misleading is if he couldn't liquidate his net worth. I mean,
Right.
that's a different conversation for a different time.
Yeah,
But
but it gets some good parking spaces.
oh, absolutely. And you're the richest man in the world, but good luck trying to
I
liquidate
wonder
whatever
if
your
he
net
got the
worth is.
I wonder if he got the $1,200
Well,
stimulus check.
no, I don't think so. I think he takes a pretty nice salary from Amazon.
All right.
But their stock fell after this was announced, so it'll be interesting to see if he's got to if he actually has to testify or not, if the lawyers can get him out of it.
People who are into Linux. Lenovo, the world's biggest PC company in terms of shipment, now offers select models with Linux pre-installed.
Hmm.
In doing so, it joins the existing club that includes Dell and other smaller players like Purism, Zareason, and System 76. So it's nice. Lenovo is putting out.
Didn't they used to do that though?
Dell does.
No,
Dell
no, I'm
used to.
talking about Lenovo.
No,
Well,
apparently not.
more specifically, IBM before it was Lenovo.
I don't remember. I don't think IBM ever
I
did.
think they
Maybe.
were with Red Hat.
But yeah, they're
Yeah, I think that's true.
I ThinkPad, even laptops. Think Workstation and ThinkPad with Linux. Like this is early 2000s,
IBM actually standardized on Linux for their employee laptops at one point.
right?
It was
And I
pretty
know
wild.
they do sell servers.
Yep.
anyway. Um, let's see what else do I have?
Google Home speakers for the deals for 29 bucks. If somebody wants Google listening on them, like the whole size, the one that they used to sell for what, 100 bucks.
Yeah.
So it's for 30 bucks, almost across the board.
Wow.
Staples, Walmart, Kohl's, Target. So if anyone wants a Google Home Smart speaker,
That's just the speaker.
well,
That's
it's
not.
like
It's not the assistant.
it's the assistant. It's the assistant.
Oh,
It's just not. It's the big speaker, not the small one, not the mini.
I wonder if anybody's ever hacked these devices where
In
you,
what way?
I mean, like I remember there was one time there was a Cisco had this small network sharing device that was essentially like a Raspberry Pi, right? And people said, "Oh, I can put Linux on there, or I can put whatever." And people were running asterisk phone switches on these little boxes where they just repurposed them, essentially reflashed it to a different OS. I
So
wonder
you
if
mean
people do
hacking
that.
as in, yeah, yeah,
I mean,
I was
yeah,
actually thinking about it this week as well.
yeah. I mean, it would be interesting to see if you wanted to turn it into a, tie it to your multimedia server in the house and just have it be a client off of it somehow. Be interesting, separate from it being a Google device.
Yeah.
It's got the Wi-Fi in it. It's got the,
so they have it for 30 bucks?
Yeah, 29.
Wow.
Yeah. So
you build a big, just a wireless sound system for your house. Put one in every room, and you can just walk around and have it.
Hmm.
Just what was the Sonos was the high end version of that, right? For a while.
Okay. And another thing that is good to know, after promising 60 days without data caps and overage fees for all customers, Comcast has decided to extend the data cap waiver until at least June 30th. Comcast announced the data cap waiver on March 13th, saying the waiver would last until May 13th to help customers deal with the pandemic. Last week, Comcast said it will extend the data cap waiver and other pandemic related changes through June 30th to help ensure students can finish out the school year from home and remain connected to the internet during the COVID 19 crisis. Also extended to June 30th is Comcast's promise not to disconnect internet, mobile, or home phone services and to waive late fees if customers contact us and let us know that they cannot pay their bills during this period. So it's not an automatic thing. You need to let them know that I can't afford to pay it. And then Verizon extended its offer to uh, till June 30th. So far, Verizon announced that they're going to extend it, and Comcast.
Why don't they just get rid of these caps? And this
I
seems like the
don't know.
perfect time to go ahead and just do it.
They probably spent so much money to figure it out that they don't want to do away with it. I remember at the Internet Center when Ron wrote the program that we can figure out how much people used on their website as far as traffic. And it was hard to let go of it because it was such a big thing. But then, I mean, it just didn't make any sense to keep up with all those statistics. I know. Why don't they do that?
This is just the perfect time to do it, right?
Yeah,
It seems to me it would make sense. It would be a very good very good
absolutely.
PR thing.
It's anytime they do it is good PR.
Yeah, but especially now, just say,
Yeah.
you know what? Hey, this is a stupid. It's crazy that because Spectrum doesn't do this at all. Like
No,
there is no data caps across
no, they
Time Warner or
aren't.
Spectrum, and there never has been, from what I understand. From what
Right.
I so Comcast and Verizon are kind of out in their own.
They used to be in the early days when it was Time Warner, they would let you know that you're using a lot. And they would look into it, but they at least they kind of warned you. But now,
Yeah, it's just interesting because like I look at like Suddenlink doesn't have caps. I know CenturyLink Fiber, they don't have caps. Spectrum doesn't have
yeah,
caps. Trying to think of what some of the other large ISPs are.
I guess
Um,
Comcast doesn't have the infrastructure to be able
they
to
do. They're
afford
the
it. But
largest they're the
I know,
largest ISP in the country.
yeah,
I think Comcast is larger than Spectrum Charter.
who
It's
knows?
freaking Viacom and NBC. They've
I
got
wonder,
plenty of
I wonder
resources.
how much they making from
Well, I don't think that I can't imagine they're
overages.
making a whole
I
lot.
know, I know. It's probably more money to keep up with it and report it and all that. And you're right.
No, it's probably not. But I mean, I'm sure. Are they making some decent money? Yes. Is it worth the bad press and constant heckling?
But that's money.
I would say probably not. But
Right.
obviously it is
Definitely not.
because well, I find it so interesting that number one and number two ISPs, one has data caps, one doesn't. So
Definitely
who's
go
got
with
the
one
right?
that doesn't.
Yeah,
Definitely.
well, obviously you can't get in some areas you can't get one that doesn't have the caps. It's just
Yeah.
super interesting that two essentially the same size companies have completely different philosophies in that. One is right, one is not. There's no way. There's no other way.
Yeah. It'll
That's
change.
all.
I mean, it's just like in the early days with cell phones that you were limited to so many minutes and all that. Now, suddenly, unlimited this and unlimited text. And it used to be that you had to pay for each text. It just, uh, they milk it as long as they can and then they do away with it. Here's something interesting for a lot of people. I don't know that I want to do that, but as more and more people desire higher quality video communications over internet while working from home due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the demand for webcams has increased dramatically, triggering incredibly high prices, sometimes 3 to 4 times over MSRP. I have not looked for a webcam, but did any of you guys notice this? Anybody come
Haven't
across
looked
this?
recently.
Um, and that
What supplier would do that?
I have no idea, but I mean, obviously, in the article, that's if you can find one at all to help bridge the growing gap. Canon has announced the release of the EOS Webcam Utility Beta, a program for that will, with a single USB cable, turn compatible Canon EOS interchangeable lens cameras (ILCs) and PowerShot cameras into dedicated webcam on PCs running the 64-bit version of Windows 10. So you
That's
can
pretty
take,
cool.
yeah, you can take. I mean, you need the program and you need a USB cable. In unprecedented times, it's imperative for Canon to provide our customers with useful, simple, and accessible solution to assist them in whatever imaging needs they need. Um, PowerShot are the cheap cameras.
Point and shoots. Yeah.
Yeah. And if you can turn that into a webcam, they have good lenses, will work great. And you don't need a capture card. But again, if you have an expensive camera, I don't know what is those ILCs, that the cameras that have interchangeable
Yeah,
lenses.
it's a
I mean, they're
digital
not talking
SLR.
about DSLRs.
Yeah, it's a digital SLR.
Okay.
Yeah.
Nick, I know you were saying that you wanted to get a cam
Yeah.
instead of a webcam, a camera, a video camera that you can use it. So the thing is, it's still limited by the USB bus, which
Correct.
I don't know. Always had problems from the
I'm at
Get
the
early
closer to
best.
the microphone, Amnon. Your sentences are trailing off at the end.
Sorry.
I'm at the Best
There
Buy
you go.
website. All of the
Oh,
webcams are sold out.
yeah,
Yep, everything.
but FTP is, hmm, I mean FTP, USB
Well,
is not
does it have audio though? That's an important thing too, because a lot of people don't have microphones on their computers and they're using the webcam mics.
a good
So,
point. But you know what? All those cameras that I have, they do have a microphone that I have
well, I
to turn
understand, but
off.
the question is, does this
I'm
USB application
Oh, if
transmit
it will
audio
allow
over
for
it?
it. A good point, but
Yeah,
they
I mean,
don't
the
mention.
Ah,
cameras have microphones. I know that, but does
Yeah,
the software pick
yeah,
that
but
up?
not real good ones.
No,
it
but
doesn't matter
it better
for
than nothing.
yeah,
Yeah.
for what we're
Yeah.
not talking here for broadcasting. We're talking about using it with Zoom and things like that. I mean, some of those microphones that people are using on their
Oh my gosh.
laptops is horrendous. So anything will be okay. But yeah, they don't mention anything about audio. You're right, Nick.
Yeah,
I'd
I
just
like
an
don't
to
know.
see
interesting.
like to see somebody take just adapt a uh, a smartphone through the USB cable to work as a camera and microphone for your.
Oh, you
That would be
can use,
something cool to do.
but you can
I'm sure an
use,
Android can do it.
Yeah, I mean, there's no reason why you couldn't
Yeah.
do it.
but you can use Zoom on the phone. Why do you have to
You
go?
can, but if in a video conference, you want to put it on a monitor.
Oh,
Video
oh,
conference
oh, oh! I
on
see
a
what you mean.
smartphone,
In
it's
the
too
Yeah, okay,
small.
yeah,
Just use it for a camera and speaker because they're excellent quality. I mean,
yep.
it's
Too much quality, but yeah, the program
yeah,
could lower it. Yeah.
it's amazing how I have a speakerphone on my desk that's connected to my UMA line, and if I do the speaker on that, people can't understand me. But if I do the speaker on my iPhone, boy, what good sound quality! What are you using? My phone.
Tell you what, man, with this whole coronavirus thing going on, I am, at least in my position at the company I work at, I'm very glad that we have embraced IP phones and virtual PBXs instead of
Yeah,
this old school approach of having an on-prem voice system, because a lot of our customers are working from home and all they have to do is buy a $15 TP Link PoE injector and they can use their phone from anywhere. When
Hmm.
we've got some larger companies that have these older Panasonic systems and they're SOL, they can literally forward the main line or nothing. I mean, there's not, you're not taking phones home. It's just not an option. There's no mobile app.
towards the end of my working for Avaya, and originally we'd have IP phones at home, but we had a uh, VPN router
Yeah,
that would deliver us, the company network behind a firewall. That worked great. But the last iteration of the phone that we got had the VPN and all that built into the phone.
that's pretty cool.
It was really cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
it would automatically connect and set up the IPsec tunnel between the phone and the
Hmm.
host. So you could literally take it anywhere, plug it in.
Yeah, that it's been super convenient to be able to just plug in a phone and have all of your all of your
They
s-
did. They
shortcuts and whatnot.
bought a company, and I don't know where this ever went. It was just newly introduced when I was leaving. But you would get a thumb drive, you plug it into the computer, and it would automatically load VPN software and create a company VPN image of your desktop on whatever computer you were on. So,
Hmm.
and a phone, a virtual phone, soft phone. Just on whatever computer you were on, when you were done, you'd shut it down. It would automatically scrub all that stuff off, and you take the thing with you again. It was a company that they bought with the intention of building this, as a new type of endpoint. It was fabulous, and
Hmm.
just to say, I don't have to bring anything with me. All I need is this flash drive.
And it worked.
It worked. Yeah, it worked. I mean, there may have been like if you go to a public computer in the lobby of a hotel. I don't know if I'd want to use it there, but if you were working from a remote location or a customer site, do you have a computer I could use? Yes, you plug this in, you go. It would figure out how to get through firewalls. I mean, it was just amazing how it worked. I don't know how they did it. Probably some type of a spy tool from the NSA that they stole. Who knows? It's
Do-do-do-do.
really, I mean, you look at these movies, the guy goes into the server room and he takes out a thumb drive and plugs it in. Next thing you know, the whole network is connected to the Black Hat network, and they're downloading all the stuff off the network, and they pulls it out and it's done. Right? Amazing.
All right, let's see what else. Okay, something about Apple. Um, a bug has been discovered in Apple's macOS image capture app that needlessly eats up potentially gigabytes of storage space when transferring photos from an iPhone or iPad to a Mac. Discovered by the developers of media asset management app NeoFinder and shared in a blog post called Another macOS Bug in Image Capture. The issue occurs when Apple's Mac tool converts HEIF photos taken by iOS to more standard JPEG file. This process happens when users uncheck the Keep Originals option in image capture settings, which converts the HEIC files to JPEG when copied to Mac. However, the app also inexplicably adds 1.5 megabytes of empty data to every single file in the process. So they said it only occurs when transferring photos from Apple devices, not when importing photos from digital cameras using image capture. So it's only if you take an iPhone or an iPad and copy it to your Mac. It notified Apple, and the developer suggests anyone plagued by the issue can try using a new beta version of the third-party utility graphic converter. So if you're using the image capture app, you can get a beta one, and it includes an option to remove the unwanted empty data from the JPEG file. It'll be really bad if suddenly you see that you're running out of space. If you take a lot of pictures with your iPhone and you move them to an iMac to a Mac, and you see that your disk space is going lower and lower, big time. And I'm sure it'll be fixed, but just so you know, if you came across something like that and you were wondering, this is why. And there's one more thing about here that I have about browser maker Mozilla is working on a new service called Private Relay that generates unique aliases to hide the user email address from advertisers and spam operators when filling in online forms. The service entered testing last month and is currently in a closed beta, with a public beta currently scheduled for later this year. Private Relay will be available as a Firefox add-on that lets user generates a unique email address, which is an alias, with one click. The user can then enter this email address in web forms to send contact requests, subscribe to newsletter, and things like that. So after you use it, it's like it's worthless. It's just like those one-time credit card. Who mentioned that?
Me,
Yeah,
privacy.com.
yeah. It's you use it once and then it's worthless.
I wonder what's different about this though.
What?
First of all, if you search private relay, it's not the first hit, which is another company. You want to go to relay.firefox.com.
Huh?
Yeah, so beware. Second, this isn't new, right? I mean, there's Mailinator, there's
Right.
um, There's a bunch.
Yeah.
Mailinator is the biggest one, I think, the most known one. So I wonder what will be different here. Most of the places where you want to register with Mailinator, if you put in a Mailinator domain name, they have a few, uh, they just don't accept it.
Yeah.
So,
I use 10minutemail.com. That's the one that I use, and that works out pretty good.
and that
And
works everywhere, or there are places where say, no,
I'm
we
sure
don't
there's
want this
places
one.
where it doesn't. I haven't had any problems
what
with it.
does
But
it?
then
What
again,
did you notice? What email address it generates?
it's a whole bunch of ones. It's just random. It's
Oh,
just a bunch of random domains. Um, yeah, I mean, and here's the thing: if you're trying to sign up with like a Facebook or a Google, yeah, these things aren't going to work. But for most third-party sites, they're not doing email verification. Big sites are going to, and you're never gonna get around those. But for like if you're trying to sign up for a Staples account or something, you could use well, not maybe Staples is a good example. If you're trying to sign up for a form or something, their forms aren't doing email verification.
right.
So, I mean, I deal with it, but it costs me money. I have a
Yeah, me
domain,
too. Me too.
right?
Yeah.
I have a domain. I use Zone Edit DNS. Uh, by the way, they got back to free zone, so I think they have free offering. And one of the nice thing about their zones is they have something called mail. Uh, it's sort of a mail relay. Once you set up the domain, my actual mail is Google for Applications. It used to be called. That's what G Suite is today. And everything goes through the DNS on goes to Zone Edit, and Zone Edit has for my main domain I have my accounts that is managed by Google, but I have another domain, and that domain I can create or subdomains of my main domain. I can create for these mail maps where a specific address or maybe everything that goes to a specific domain or subdomain is just diverted to a list of addresses that I want. And that allows me, so everything at my, let's say, gal dot domain, right? That will go to my email, but I can put any address in the email. Sounds like this is what they're doing, something like that. The thing is, when you control it, when you have your own domain, the chances of your domain name being blacklisted in any of these services does not exist. Once you start using a relay like this, so I'm guessing Firefox now is introducing a relay. Fantastic. We'll get it'll be popular for about, I don't know, 3 to 6 months, and they'll start being blocked in most of these services
Well,
because
but
this is going to be the popular one.
the way that what you're talking about to create another email, I mean, I've been doing it for over 15 years now, and it's got nothing to do with the fact that I have that I'm an ISP. Many email servers will allow you to, and we talked about it, will allow you
Yeah,
to enter if your email is gal@gal.com,
right,
you can put gal dash or plus
right.
any word as your email address, and it'll come to you if somebody writes to it. If you see that
That's true.
something is being abused, you can block it.
But you're still exposing yourself, your email. So a spam aggregator will collect these emails, will just drop the plus and send you an email,
They don't do it yet. Yeah,
right?
they, they,
So I wanted that's the thing. That's why it seems like important to somehow find a way of distinct creating an address, right?
Mhm.
That the whoever aggregates it cannot, you can know where it came from, and that's what I'm looking for. I'm not looking for something to help me block the spam so much as identify where that spam came
right,
from, right?
right. That's why, I mean, when I use anything to sign, if I go to site at xyz.com and they want my email, I put amnon-xyz@deltaforce.net. And if
Right.
I get any email that is not from them and like spam, I say, oh, it came from that company.
Yeah.
They must have sold it or somehow it got leaked. So I
Yeah,
just block it.
or a leak. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure one of these days they'll figure out that they can drop the plus or the minus, whatever, before the at and
Yeah, my solution for this was to buy a but to buy just a a regular domain and just put a bunch of
you could.
email
Yeah,
aliases on it.
you could.
So
Yeah,
if
I
you
mean,
hook
it's
up
not that.
that domain, if you hook up that domain to Zone Edit, you can basically get infinite emails and patterns as you like. I
Oh
can
yeah,
show you.
yeah. I mean,
So
I've got it on my web server, so I've got unlimited. Now, obviously, it's not for everybody, but if you already have like a web server that you can host a domain on, that's what. So I've got probably 100 aliases on it already, and I just use it, use it, use it.
Oh.
Yep. So yeah, the solution is spam. Buy a .com or .net domain, then get a web hosting package with unlimited emails. Problem solved.
All right. That time of day again. Anything else anybody wants to bring up? Think, think, think.
Sorry, I'm muted. But did you see the pilot did a flyover of Wisconsin? No, Michigan. I'm sorry. And by tracing his route, he spelled out a message for the governor.
I don't know that that's for real.
I'm looking at a picture of it here.
You look at the picture that somebody drew on the.
No, that was his flight path.
According to who?
According to, let's
I
see, you
mean,
can you can go and get your Flight Aware. It's called. It's
Yeah,
a
Flight
flight
Aware.
Oh,
tracking
okay.
service.
So if that's, yeah, I didn't. I saw the picture, but I said, yeah,
Yeah,
anybody can
you
draw.
can have your, you can either use radar or have GPS track your, just like I have an app on my phone for doing.
I would want to see smoke written in smoke, you know?
Oh, I know.
And
It
you
didn't
couldn't
appear
do
the
that in
sky.
smoke.
It was just on the, it would just show up.
not smoke, it's trail cam. No.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, if you
Chemtrails. Right.
contrails, yeah.
Yeah.
They used to, there was a service they used in New York when I was a kid called sky typing. It was 5 planes that would fly in formation and they would automatically release smoke at the same, because it was literally
Yeah.
typing in the sky. It was incredible. They put messages out advertising products. You remember that, Amnon? Did you ever see that?
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess that'll be it then for today. Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Gal. Thanks, Spence. And good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna, and Dina. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive, update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. Tonight at 7, Nick hosts Against the Norm at atnshow.com. And if you are in Wilmington, you can listen to it at 106.7 FM. See you next week.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.